Hello students, welcome to the third lecture of chapter 1, that is electric charges and fields. Last lecture we saw different properties of electric charge as well as something called as grounding or earthing. In this lecture we are going to see different methods of charging. How do we charge a body? Different methods involved in charging a body. Okay, under which the first method we have is charging by contact or friction. So as the name suggests, this is going to be just you get the two bodies in contact with each other and they get charged. Okay. So initially in the first lecture we had seen one experiment wherein we had a glass rod and a silk cloth and we rubbed it against each other and one body got positively charged. If you remember, the glass rod got positively charged and the silk cloth got negatively charged. That is basically the electrons on the glass rod jumped onto the silk cloth. Okay, thus making it a negatively charged body, if you remember, right? So this is nothing but charging by contact or friction. Okay, now supposing we take any two random bodies and we rub them against each other. Okay, one body gets positively charged and the other body gets negatively charged. So here I have made a list of pair of objects which get charged on rubbing against each other. So the body, when supposing glass rod is rubbed with the silk cloth, glass rod will be positively charged and silk cloth will be negatively charged. Okay, if a cat skin or a flannel is rubbed with the ebonite rod is going to be negatively charged and the cat skin is going to be positively charged, and so on. Okay, this is the first method of charging, that is charging by contact or friction. The second method of charging is charging by conduction. Now what is charging by conduction? Is basically one body will be charged, another body will not be charged. When these two bodies are brought in contact with each other, the charges will flow from one body to the another, the body which is charged to the body which is uncharged. And why does this happen? Simply because of the force of repulsion. So supposing I take sphere A which is charged and another sphere B which is uncharged, and I get them in contact with each other. So I touch them together, A and B. Supposing this body A or sphere A is positively charged, there are all protons over here, positive charges over here. So what will happen is, once it get more space, all these positive charges will start moving apart, because we know that the like charges repel each other, correct? So this one will start moving apart, one away from the other, and that is how the other body will get charged. Now supposing you separate the two bodies, both the bodies will be positively charged. So this is called as the charging by conduction. Another important thing to note over here is, if I have body A which is positively charged, let's say body A has a positive charge of plus Q, okay, and I have another body B which is neutral. Okay, so what do you mean by a neutral body? It has a equal number of positive and negative charges. Okay, so it has plus Q minus Q, they cancel out each other, it becomes neutral. Okay, and supposing if I get these two bodies in contact with each other, A and B, what will happen is, since this is a plus Q charge and this has a plus Q and minus Q charge, this plus Q, capital plus Q, and minus small q will get attracted to each other. All this negative charge will quickly rush towards the positive Q, okay, and start cancelling out this positive charge. So the net charge on A at last will be what? Q minus Q. Supposing, let's say assume values to understand it better. Let's say A has a charge of plus 10 coulombs, okay, plus 10 coulombs, and B has a charge of minus 5 coulombs and plus 5 coulomb. Therefore we call it as a neutral body. Okay, plus 5 and minus 5 cancel out each other, net charge is 0, that is neutral. Okay, once I get these two bodies in contact with each other, what will happen is, this negative will quickly come near the positive, because unlike charges attract each other. So 10 minus 5 will be 5 here, 5 coulomb, and this positive and positive will repel and they will continue to stay this side. Okay, so body A will be having a 5 coulomb charge and body B will be also having a 5 coulomb charge. Okay, so this is the case. So this is a special case here. So that is what is explained in this example over here. You can just read through it. The next method of charging is charging by induction. Okay, so first we need to understand what is electrostatic induction. So electrostatic induction is basically a phenomena of temporary electrification of a conductor. You electrify a conductor temporarily, okay, in which opposite charges appear at its closer end and similar charges appear at its farther end in the presence of nearby charged bodies. For example, supposing you have a sphere, okay, and you want to charge this sphere, what do is I take a positively charged glass rod and I get it close to this sphere because I want to charge this sphere, okay, making sure that this glass rod does not touch this sphere, okay. You have to keep it away, you have to just introduce it, just get it closer to the sphere. So what is going to happen is all the electrons which are present in this sphere will get attracted to these positive charges on the glass rod and quickly accumulate on the nearer side of the sphere. And since the positive charges gets repelled by this positively charged glass rod, they will accumulate on the farther surface of this sphere. So this is nothing but a charging by induction. That is, you just introduce a external body which is charged and you develop charge in the other body without getting them in contact with each other. Okay, so we'll see this in detail. So in the first step, what I do is I take two spheres, okay, I keep them in contact with each other and mount them on an insulating stand. Why do I use an insulating stand? Because I do not want the charges which are developed over here to pass to the ground. That is why I'm keeping them on an insulating stand. Okay. Next, what do is I introduce a charged glass rod, a positively charged glass rod near the spheres. Okay. So in the second step, I consider the spheres and I introduce a positively charged glass rod near it. So as I explained you, all the electrons which are present in this sphere will quickly accumulate on the nearer side. And since this electron traveled from here to here, since electron leaves its place, what happens is a positive charge is generated. So all the positive charges will be accumulated on the farther surface from this rod. Okay. So now next step, what you have to do is keeping this rod intact. Okay. You have to space them apart. Space the two spheres apart. Okay. So I develop a space between them. So what will happen is this one will be negatively charged. This one will be positively charged. Now what I do in the next step is I remove the glass rod. So once I remove the glass rod, what will happen? Now this negative and this positive will get attracted towards each other and travel on the nearer faces, okay, towards each other. Fine. Now supposing this distance between them was A, I increase the distance to, let's say, 2A. I take them more apart. Okay. So I place one over here, another over here. In this step, what is going to happen is these charges are going to distribute themselves within the sphere. Okay. So what I did in this case is just by introducing an external source, a positively charged external source, I developed the opposite charges in both the spheres. This process is called as charging by induction. Next is charging of a sphere by induction. For example, supposing I want to charge a sphere positively, completely positive sphere, what do? Okay, we are going to see that. So in the first step, what I do is similar. I take a sphere, I mount it on an insulating stand. Okay. Next, what I do is, since I want a positively charged sphere here, okay, now I'll introduce a plastic rod which is negatively charged. In the previous case, I had considered a glass rod which was positively charged. In this case, I'm taking a plastic rod which is negatively charged. Okay. Since this is negatively charged, there will be a positive charge accumulated on the nearer surface and a negative charge accumulated on the farther surface. Okay. In the next step, what do is I keep this plastic rod intact, which is negatively charged. okay, and I connect grounded on the other side, that is basically on the negative charge side. Okay, this is positive here, this is negative here, so I connect it to the ground over here. Okay, I ground it. So what will happen is, since this is closer to each other, negative and positive, there will be a force of attraction between two, and since there is a force of attraction, the positive charges will be held over here. But since there is already a repulsion over here and there is a ground which is trying to pull these electrons down, these electrons will start flowing through the ground since it is grounded here. Okay, so all this electron will from this wire will be flowing to the ground. So what is going to happen is, in the third step, this is your sphere, all the electrons are gone now, so all the positive charges will be left over here which are getting attracted to the negatively charged plastic rod. So I remove the earthing wire now, I remove the grounded thing. Okay, and next, in the next step, I also remove my plastic rod. So what will happen is, once I remove the plastic rod, this sphere will be distributing its positive charge all over. So at the end, what do I get is, I get a positively charged sphere. So this is the last method, that is charging by induction. Okay, next we have is a gold leaf apparatus. So gold leaf apparatus is a device which is used for detecting the electric charge, like how much electric charge is present on a body. So it consists of a box, okay, a box like this, which has a metal rod, okay, which has a metal knob on top end, and there are two gold leaves which are connected to the bottom end of this metal rod. This is sealed with a rubber over here. This is insulating material so that the charges won't flow from the rod to the box. Okay, so how does this work? So the body on which you want to measure the charge, okay, is touched to the metal knob on top over here. So as soon as the body is touched over here, all the charges from the body will start flowing from this metal knob through the metal rod to the leaves. Okay, so this the charges will start flowing to the leaves and get distributed over the two leaves which are shown over here. So since we know a property that like charges repel each other, what is going to happen is, once the charges come and distribute themselves on the leaves down here, since we know that the like charges repel each other, these leaves will start opening up. This one will open up this way, this one will open up this way, and the degree of divergence, the angle between them, is going to give you the measure of charge present on that body which was touched on the metal knob on top. Okay, so if the charge on the body is opposite, then the leaves will converge, and if the charge on the body was of the same kind, they will repel each other and it will diverge. Okay, so the degree of divergence of the leaves gives you a measure of the amount of charge present on that body. So yeah, so this is it about today's class. So we saw different methods of charging and a gold leaf apparatus. Next class we are going to see something called as Coulomb's law, which is a very important law in the electrostatics. Okay, so I'll see you in the next class.